got like some bowling balls and...
Yeah, I should throw those away.
So, just received word while I was helping my dad put up all his Christmas decorations here in his attic. We lost Betty White today, 99 years old. January 17th, she was so close to 100. It's weird when you see someone like Betty White. You have that happen, you're like, oh, they're gonna live forever. Indelible heroes. I remember some of this stuff from my childhood home before my parents got divorced. Some of these posters and these trophies. I remember I used to have this flag in my room. I used to always love waving this thing around. Wow, memory lane. Yeah, Happy New Year, Rich.
Yeah.
2022.
Okay, yeah.
Same to you, Vivian, to you, Grandma.
Happy New Year to you, he said, yeah.
Well, ladies and germs, here we are, New Year's Eve 2021, as we go into 2022. They get faster every single year. Like, I don't think there's any other way I could say it. Each year, so it's basically already 2023. If 2022 goes by this fast, that's how it is. But no, right off the bat, my overall statements, 2021 was arguably one of the most productive years of my life, both professionally, creatively, personally. I just indulged in so much this year, and I set myself up for so many amazing things, many of which are going to see the light of day here in early 2022, that I'm honestly really proud of myself, and I'm just beyond happy, and I proved a lot to myself this year as well. So we're doing things a little bit smaller this year. There's no big bash or anything. We've been around some people who tested positive for COVID. I'm not too concerned because everyone here, we're all boosted, so I'm not really too worried about it. But just gotta be safe. The safer we are now, the more epic 2022 the New Year's Eve will be like. So. But figured we'd just take things slow. As you saw earlier today, I helped my dad. We officially closed out the year. I helped him put all the Christmas decorations away. So the book has officially been closed on this year. And now I figured just little intimate discussion, sit here, a little dialogue. I'll take you through the year. We'll go through everything that happened to me personally, professionally. At the end, I'll go over some of my favorite entertainment things as well as some of my worst. So here we go. So 2021 started in January on a pretty somber note on January 2nd, because my grandma's older sister Eleanor, my Aunt Eleanor, passed away on Christmas Eve of last year, and her wake was in Toledo, Ohio on January 3rd. So on January 2nd, we all road tripped out to Toledo, Ohio for the wake. And that's my first video of the 2021 as well. It's probably one of the most grim, gloomy videos I've ever done. That whole video is just shrouded like in gray colors and the snow and the overall somber vibe. And I use this piano music, but it's a really fitting capsule of that weekend, even though I did not unfortunately get to know my Aunt Eleanor that well. I haven't seen her since I was probably 7, I think, because my grandma's family's all out there in Toledo, so when that's the way your year starts, it's like kind of a down note. But at least the benefit to that was we stayed in probably the nicest hotel room I've ever stayed in. It was literally a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, full kitchen, and a living space hotel room at this hotel there in Ohio. So I'm like, well, at least we got something really cool out of it. And during this period of time as well, I became really good friends with a singer in Australia named Annalise, and we started doing like video calls every Friday night. That was a lot of fun and definitely a 2021 highlight. Thank you, Miss Annalise. And then at work, this was during the period of time where I was still working for Pulse TV, this weird little e-commerce site that basically just sold a bunch of little gadgets and as seen on TV type products and stuff. Weird little job, but I've got some interesting stories out of it. And, let's see, during the month of January there was when they started having me drive their company van, which I've never had to drive a van, like a typical long haul moving van with all, and it didn't really have any windows except for the very back door. So that was a little bit of an adjustment, having to learn how to not only drive, but then back this van up into the warehouse. I almost took out the fence once, but then I perfected the goal and I was able to do it, back this van, because it's hard, a van, no rear windows, you can't see what you're doing, especially when you're reversing. But no, that was good, that was good. And then after that, my first trial run of that, I backed it in like straight through the garage door every time. February was a pretty busy month, because at that Pulse TV, it was a family-owned company, so pretty much everyone there had like 10 different jobs. For better or for worse. I don't even know what my title would be by the end because I did so much. But during the month of February, they approached me and they were like, "Oh, Ken, you've got retail experience, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, several years at Sears." And they're like, the company, they opened up these mask stores, and they were called Masks and More Outlet. And so they were like, "Hey Ken, how about every Friday from 9 to 2 you work there and then close out your day at the office? Masks and More Outlet." So I can officially say for my job every Friday, because it was full time, I was working at this Masks and More Outlet store, which just sold masks, sanitizers, stale beef jerky, all the normal stuff there. But it was an easy gig and it was fun, and there were a couple different occasions where, because I also work for the Village of Frankfurt part-time, I'm over 3 years there, I still work for them. And there was one day when the mayor at the time, Jim Holland, walked past, and I was like, "Hey Jim," and he turned, he's like, "Ken, what are you doing here?" And then one of the trustees, Adam Borelli, saw me working in there, he's like, "Ken?" So that was funny. And also in February, they put me in charge of their Bizarre News web series that they kind of got off the ground. Bizarre News is one of the email newsletters they did. Just going to show you how stuck in the 90s that company is. They used email newsletters to kind of promote all of their products, and one of which was Bizarre News. It was these weird but true news stories. And my bachelor's degree is in comedy writing and performance from the Second City, so they were like, "Yeah, Ken, we'll give you full creative control, use all your video knowledge and this and that, and you could put together a Bizarre News web series." So it was pretty much my baby. I anchored it, I wrote it, I edited it, I pretty much did everything with this Bizarre News web series, and we were able to do 7 episodes of that, and it was pretty fun. And just to prove that it's all an old wives' tale and there's no such thing as a curse. What? That was weird. A few of them, I was able to track down the people who the stories actually happened to, and I sent them my videos, and they loved them. They thought it was hilarious, because I made sure if it was something like that to never paint the people in a negative light. So as long as it was something positive, I would send it to the people. Now that was a fun series to work on, Bizarre News. There was even a day where the power went out mid-shoot, so I started talking and then the power went out, so it was funny. Association to let people get by like this while wasting their food. See, look at that, the power's out and everything.
Sit. Oh, we're done. What happened? Apocalypse. It's all over now.
Hey, March was more of the same, just kind of keeping on going with Pulse TV, doing it was like a desk job. I was basically like a marketing assistant there, or order management. Like I said, everyone there had like 10 different jobs. And so that continued. The working at the mask store on Fridays for them continued. Doing that, and then for my mom's birthday, I got her a John Taffer cameo, which he ended up doing it for free because he missed the deadline, which just goes to show how good of a guy John Taffer is. And I was able to book my first COVID vaccine shot because for my other job with the Village of Frankfurt, I was the co-supervisor of the farmers market, which is considered essential because you're working with food and produce. So I was able to get my vaccine relatively early on in the process, my first dose of Pfizer back in March, to which I actually wore my Pfizer, it's my dad's Pfizer jacket from his racing days. So that was a pretty fun time. People thought that was pretty funny walking in there with that. I went to the South Suburban College to get that done, so got boosted up. And then April, I don't know what it is about April. It's just every year April is the busiest month of the year. So, I need to go back a little bit. I forgot to mention something about February. And also in February, kind of backtracking a little bit, I filmed my first ever acting role. I can't say what it is just yet, but I filmed my first ever acting role in a forthcoming true crime documentary. And it was an amazing shoot. We filmed it on location in the city of Chicago late at night. And filming was repeatedly interrupted because women would not stop hitting on me. They'd be driving by in cars and stuff. Hey, sexy, what are you doing? Or like they'd be walking, you'd see them looking in their car window. And the filming was repeatedly interrupted because of that. And the director was like, damn, Pataki, does this happen to you a lot? I said, no, I gotta come hang out in Belmont more often. So that was funny. I look very much forward to the day where I can reveal more about that film because I'm very excited for you guys to see it. A lot of work has gone into it. Okay, April. It didn't really go anywhere, but I received a call from the Village of Palos Heights asking if I would co-host a restaurant show for their public access TV channel. I gladly said yes, but the cards were just not in play, never saw the light of day. But offer still stands if anyone ever wants to do that. And April 16th, the album Double Trouble by my good friend Robbie LeBlanc was released. I am Robbie's social media manager. I control his social media page as well as the page for Find Me, the Frontiers Records projects he's a singer for. Double Trouble was a super fun, total 80s style album, 70s and 80s vibes depending on the song. It was released through Escape Music, so I was working through him, and Khalil Turk, who's the A&R guy for Escape Music. Absolute pleasure to work with. It's an amazing album. Highly recommend Double Trouble to everybody. April 20th, 4/20 was a Tuesday, and that was the day Mayor Jim Holland of Frankfurt was throwing his retirement party I got invited to. It was very different there because Jim was the mayor for my first 2.5 years, and he had been the mayor for the past 15 years prior to that. So he was Frankfurt. So it was really bittersweet at his retirement party. It was held at this beautiful venue.
That's not what I do. He says, I don't want you to fix the ticket. They gave me the ticket and it was incorrect. They shouldn't have given me this ticket. And I said, yeah, you want me to fix the ticket? I don't fix tickets. I'm not going to start being mayor doing that kind of thing. I think it's corrupt. I think it's wrong. And, he was upset. I know I lost his vote. It just happens. You lose, I only won by 10 votes, so it's pretty easy to lose.
And yeah, I knew moving forward from that it was going to be different without him in the Village of Frankfurt. So, salute to you, Mayor Jim Holland, and welcome to Mayor Keith Ogle. Now, I knew him very well before that. He was a trustee, so we're in good hands with Keith. And that was 4/20, and then on April 23rd, which was a Friday, we went separate ways with Pulse TV. I mean, there was some entertaining shit there, like there was a thermometer fiasco that was ridiculous and completely cartoonish. But yeah, as of April 23rd, it just wasn't worth it anymore. And thankfully, I was able to turn my attention full time to the Summer for Frankfurt, because that weekend we had the Earth Day celebration, and there was the very first farmers market, and again, I was a co-supervisor of that, so I was at that every single Sunday from April through October. So it kind of took up my weekends. And then starting in May, the big thing was, on top of being the co-coordinator of the Frankfurt TV channel, I was also on the Public Works crew. So the month of May, it was a lot of sunburn and a lot of sweat. Like but hey, it's that kind of stuff that's really rewarding though, because you go out there and you do a manual labor intensive job like that, and like I said, I got sunburned as shit several days, and yeah, I would wear the sun hat, and you're outside the entire time, and you can, but it was a great experience. I already knew several of the Public Works people from working there for 2.5 years, so getting to work in more close corners with them was amazing. Lots of pulling weeds, lots of spraying shit, lots of hedge trimming, and just whatever it need be. And then at the end of that job in August, like I would help them cut down a lot of trees, throw them in the chipper. That stuff was awesome. You know, shout out to Terry Kessel, Kevin Hack, Dave Walsh, Max, Caesar, Goder, just a great crew. So that job lasted from May until the last weekend of August, because it was a seasonal job. So in between that, for the summer, the big events, June 25th was an amazing day, because that was the day after almost 3 years I finally met the Ken Pataki cosplayer from 80s in the Sand, Brad Good. He was passing through Illinois on business, and I said, we gotta meet up. So I took him to Portillo's, like any natural Chicagoan does to their out-of-town friends, and I wore the t-shirt I got of him as me, and we walked up to the counter at Portillo's, and the guy working the register just started laughing. You could tell he was so confused, but he was just like, what is happening? And then that night was opening night of Fast 9, which I already had my tickets for. I know that movie has made so many people's worst of the year list. They're all wrong. F9 was amazing, and it was easily my favorite movie of the year, and it's one of the best theater experiences I've ever had. After the complete train wreck of Fate of the Furious and Hobbs and Shaw, F9 took the story exactly where I wanted it to go, and I cannot wait to see where 10 goes. So between meeting Brad Good and seeing F9 at night, June 25th, automatically one of the best days of the year. And then July, 4th of July was a lot of fun. Did a lot of running around, spent some time at my cousin Jackie's house, where I even got in the dunk tank. Then I went to my uncle's, where he lives in an apartment building, and I was actually able to run into an old good friend from high school, Ron Shines, who I don't think I had seen him since 2015 when we graduated high school. So Mr. Shines, as me and Schubert always called him. It was great seeing him. And also later on in July, speaking of Nick, that's when Nick Schubert was in town visiting for a wedding that him and my cousin Jason were going to, for a friend of theirs from Western Illinois University where they both studied. And while Nick was here, they all got ready for the wedding here at my house. So when Nick got here before Jason and the other friend Austin did, I taught Nick how to play Shut the Box. So it's up to you, the call you want to make with that.
I feel like I made a mistake already.
I don't know. So far you're swinging. So that was great. It's always awesome seeing Nick. And that was also during the same period of time where it was a heat wave, mid-90s, humidity, and our air conditioner broke. So we had to take my cat and me, like we all stayed at my grandma's for a couple days. That was an absolute clusterfuck, but hey, we made it through somehow. My cat got really sick after that for a while. We thought she was a goner, but here we all are. We made it through the heat wave and we got a new air conditioner. So And then July closed out with Flashback Weekend 2021, which was amazing. It's the first Flashback Weekend at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Rosemont, which was gigantic. It was so nice and fancy. You know, seeing Bob, Austin, and Angela, Ron, and met some new friends this year, such as Summer, Henry, Heather, Verve, Erica, like a lot of great people at these things. Joe and John, aka Pickles the Clown, great people. Flashback Weekend is a yearly highlight every single year, and I cannot wait for Flashback Weekend 2022 just to see what happens. And Stone Cold E.T. happened. I mean, come on, you can't fight against Stone Cold E.T. August, the end of Public Works, and at the beginning of August, I saw Billy Idol, which was awesome.
Sister, what have you done? Hey, sister, it's a nice day for us. My brother.
So yeah, we saw Billy Idol. It was funny, at that Billy Idol concert, I was up near the stage, standing next to this woman, Nancy, and we ended up hitting it off well, and we became pretty good friends, so much so that we still have each other's number, and we still text pretty regularly. Even went out a few times. So I got that going for me. I'm 24, she's 47, but hey, we had some good times. No harm done. We texted him a little bit earlier today. Happy New Year. So shout out to you, Nancy. Meet me at the Billy Idol concert. And then my birthday weekend in Michigan. That was a lot of fun. I went out with the 80s in the Sand crowd at Moon Man Bob's house. And it was just an awesome weekend with live music. We had a gorgeous last day where we rented these pontoon boats and we all went out to a sandbar and we just partied and just hung out under the sun out on the lake for the entire day. And it's actually fitting that I had to leave early to catch my plane back here to Illinois, because apparently not long after I left there, some really bad thunderstorms moved through, because my plane got delayed 4 hours. And I guess they were stranded on the lake when that happened, so it's like, oof, I got out at just the right time. Great weekend. And that was also the same weekend where I accidentally crashed an intimate family wedding party in the hotel. So that's in the video, while I was wearing my World's Best Condom shirt. September, I turned 24, and then I was actually going through the process now. Not only was I working part-time for Frankfurt, but I was being hired full-time at the community college I went to. I was being hired as an assistant of the college introductory program for first-year students. Full-time job, everything, and I love that school so much. So just being able to do that and get a job like that at this school where I could give back to the students was just amazing. But before that happened, I had a couple weeks I had to kill, so I ended up working at my cousin's ice cream and hot dog stand. Completely spur of the moment. My cousin Jackie called me out of the blue one night and said, Ken, do you want to make some extra money working for Ranch Frosties by starting tonight? So that night, for the next 4 weeks or so, I was working at an ice cream place making ice cream and hot dogs. Life's full of surprises. October, when the hallmark moment of 2021 happened, where we had the Iceland vacation, me and my cousin Jason, our first trip where it's just the two of us in years. It was amazing. You know, I've got a nearly 2-hour-long video showing our whole trip, from the people we met, like Taylor in the airport, Goofy Robert on the plane, who was showing me photos of his naked girlfriend. We went to the Ice Bar, which is where we met Laura and Ryan, Nathaniel and Emily, Ansa, Kevin and Ulfar, the bartenders, as well as our now good friends Cody and Tia from New York, who we really hit it off there with, and we went out to dinner with the following night. And I tried eating tomato ice cream, which was the most disgusting thing I think I've ever eaten. I tried snail, which actually wasn't that bad, especially in comparison to that. And we even saw the Northern Lights. Like, how can you go wrong? And then when we were sitting in the room just watching the British game shows, like Rolling in It and all this other stuff. Okay, wait, we have the Manquila, Pablo's porn star, late night zombie, the Jamaican mule, Mexican mule.
Have you ever had a Moscow mule?
No.
Those will put you on your butt.
So, Jason and I did not realize this when we initially walked into this place, but now that we see the menu and we see the other people in there, yeah, this is a gay bar. Okay, let's see. What is this? Is BBC Two now?
No, I believe this is ITV.
Or is this ITV?
This is ITV. Yeah,
ITV One. Okay. Wait, dogs?
Dogs right now.
Gordon Ramsay! Hell yeah, Gordon Ramsay. We're keeping this on. Don't hate the players.
It's the unstoppable London Hughes and Mystique legend, the scandalous Sabrina Washington. Come on!
Yeah, Sabrina Washington.
Just need to avoid the yellows or they'll be sent tumbling.
This reminds me of that show Dog Eat Dog.
Memory of the paths as it is about trying to get through to the next zone. It's the grey zone. Jasmine with a good start and looking to try and get a little bit further. Oh, Kim is already a goner.
So trip, amazing trip. I highly recommend Iceland to anyone, and definitely check out my video. I think you guys would be entertained by it. And then that's when I started working at my college, Moraine Valley. You know, just I have my own office, my own desk, my own nameplate. I mean, it's like full circle now. I've even bumped into a few former teachers of mine who are just so ecstatic and happy to see that I'm working there now. So I'm currently working there now, very happy, and it's nice full time. Still working part time for the village after I've been there 3.5 years, but no, so it's going really good in that regard, working full time for Moraine Valley. November, the Holly Ridgeland box set came out, which I got to participate in some amazing Zoom calls with Robin Randall, Steve Zell, Ina, and Marcy Free, and getting to talk to Marcy Free was an absolute, honor. The day after that was Days of the Dead, Chicago, where I got to meet Priscilla Presley, Louis Gossett Jr., my dad and I got our picture with Alice Cooper, Kathleen Turner, Richard Dreyfuss. There's so many people, and it was an amazing time. And again, any excuse I have to hang out with our two convention friends, Austin and Bob, is worthwhile. And then the month of December, I just did the whole December, vlog, the Christmas special, and that was a lot of fun. So just watch that video, and you'll get the, the imprint, because it's still technically December right now for another hour or so. And so there's my my overview of the year. And I've got some amazing things coming in early 2022 that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So now we end on a fun note here. Let's do the entertainment rankings. So I've got my top 5 best movies that I've watched this year. Not that necessarily that got released this year, just my top 5 movies that I watched, period, for the first time. So movies that I had never seen before that I watched for the first time in 2021, my top 5 best, my top 5 worst of that, and then I have a couple honorable mentions for the best, and then I have a separate category where my favorite funny bad movies. So movies that were bad, but they were funny bad, so I could get behind them. And then a couple music album shout outs too. So for my top 5 best movies, Number 5 was the submarine war paranormal thriller from 2002 called Below. Great psychological suspense horror war movie, Below. It's written and produced by Darren Aronofsky. Zach Galifianakis is in it. I loved it. It's just such a expertly constructed, paranoia-driven suspense movie. I had to put it at number 5. So number 5, Below. I already talked about number 4, F9, my 4th favorite movie that I saw this year, F9. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. Haters gonna hate, come at me. Number 3 is actually a tie because 2021 was the first year where I've ever really dove into the James Bond series. I had only seen a few of them before this year, so this was when I marathoned all of them. And so I didn't want to make 2 separate rankings with the James Bond, so these 2 James Bond movies are tied at number 3, and they are my top 2 movies of the franchise. My favorite is For Your Eyes Only, followed very closely by Tomorrow Never Dies. Easily Pierce Brosnan's best. Why that one gets so much shit from people is beyond me. It's amazing. So, yeah, that's number 3, tied between For Your Eyes Only and Tomorrow Never Dies. Number 2 is Get Crazy, a very fitting titled screwball music comedy set around New Year's Eve with one of the best casts you've ever seen, some amazing music. I'll be talking about that one in the next DVD update. And the number 1 best movie I watched all of 2021 is a British thriller known as Tower Block. It's these people stuck at the top floor of this apartment building while a sniper is picking them all off. Easily the best thing I've seen this year. It's amazing, it's tense. I was on the edge of my seat watching it, which is something that never happens with me watching movies, so Tower Block, easily the number 1 favorite. And some honorable mentions for, good best movies. Drive from 1997, Cube from 1997, the Tim Matheson TV movie Buried Alive, as well as some non-movies like Sledgehammer, the TV show, Leslie Nielsen's Bad Golf Made Easier, and Wally George's Hot Seat. The top 5 worst things I've seen all year are number 5, No Time to Die. You have a piss-poor, underwritten villain played by a way underused Rami Malek. James Bond himself does not do any of the action scenes. The movie is 3 hours long when it does not need to be. And you have a manipulative ending that tricks everyone thinking into it's super emotional when it's empty as shit. Easily one of the worst James Bond movies and one of the worst piles of shit to come out this year. Skyfall and Casino Royale are both masterpieces, and the fact that No Time to Die had to be Daniel Craig's worst. But yet there's still people that say Tomorrow Never Dies sucks. Come on. So yeah, number 5, No Time to Die. Number 4, the Fear Street trilogy. All 3 of them were terrible. 1994 wasn't 1994 at all. It was more 80s nostalgia pandering, as was the 1978 one. And the 1666 one was unbearable. And even the ending back in the present day sucked. Bland, bland, bland. It's why I hate nostalgia pandering bullshit. So number 4 is the entirety of the Fear Street trilogy. Number 3 is Bingo Hell, a movie that could have had the potential to be the best B movie in years. You had Richard Brake as this crazy Willy Wonka type figure at this evil bingo hall and a group of senior citizens that got to stop him. That could have been the best movie of the year. And they just made it really artsy, really weird, threw in lots of social commentary. Bingo Hell, absolutely terrible. Number 2, Bored Heads, is really just cheap, lame beach comedy from the early 2000s. It was just a chore to sit through. It was terrible. It was like they were trying to do like a Bill and Ted type thing with the main 2 guys, and it just did not work. And the number 1 worst movie I've seen all year is 2016's Christmas thriller Better Watch Out. I'm pretty wooden when it comes to bad movies. Normally it's just in one ear, out the other. This is a movie that flat out offended me. And I don't get offended by shit. Like, I'm typically an asshole when it comes to stuff like that. But Better Watch Out is offensive. It is arguably the most unsatisfying movie with the most unsatisfying script path that I've ever seen. The lead kid is the most unwatchable, annoying, least scary lead I have ever seen in any kid actor. Like, watch The Good Son, or even watch Mikey, and it's better than the young Sheldon idiot in that one. Yeah, Better Watch Out. Hands down, one of the worst movies I've seen in my life. When I watched it, it ended, and especially after the post-credits scene, which makes an already shitty ending even worse. I was so mad. Like, I seriously wanted to punch something after sitting through that pile of garbage. And then I talked to a few of my friends about it, and they all hated it, and they all said, dude, why did you watch that? And the thing has good marks online from people, which I don't understand. I saw a review on YouTube that called it a modern Christmas classic. Get the fuck out of here. Better Watch Out. Easily the worst pile of crap I've seen all year, and one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how anyone can tolerate that garbage. My favorite bad movies. So these are the funny bad ones. We've got Judge and Jury with Martin Kove and David Keith. It's just absolutely insane. Devil's Express, the weirdest 70s blaxploitation kung fu monster movie ever made. Christina's House, this really weird horror movie with so many subtexts, so many people either overacting or underacting. It plays out like the weirdest, most R-rated Goosebumps episode you've ever seen, and it makes not a damn lick of sense. Cube 2, Hypercube, laughable. It was so boring, it was so dull, it was so lifeless compared to the Cube and Cube Zero, but it was still funny just because of these weird tropes they try to pull. And some album shoutouts. We've got the unreleased album from 1983 called Tim, unreleased album from the late 80s by Life by Night called Glass Walls, and a new album from 2021 that I absolutely loved was Renegade by Nitrate, and the aforementioned Double Trouble by Robbie LeBlanc, and the Holly Ridgeland box set. Well, folks, let's hope 2022 is a tolerable year. I look forward to seeing what happens. Like I said, I've got a lot of cool stuff coming here early in the year. So, yeah, let's hope it all goes good. I wish you guys, I hope your 2021 wasn't too bad. Mine was actually great, very productive. So, sending everyone my best wishes for the new year. Thank you all for watching. And we will see you with some new content here in 2022.
15 seconds to midnight.
Okay, well, get this going.
Let's get it going
14,
here.
13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. $999, 5,000!